Mcmillions by James Lee Hernandez and Brian Lazarte. Remember that time that McDonald's promised you that you could win $1 million if you bought a Big Mac and it all ended up being a lie? Well, this is the book about how it all happened. The whole scam from the McDonald's Monopoly game that ran from 1989 to 2001. The story starts with the FBI agents that noticed that something fishy was going on in the winners of the Monopoly game, leading to back to the origin of how it all happened and who the scam artists really were. I actually love the way this book starts. You have the young FBI agent in this Jacksonville, Florida FBI headquarters, and he sees a sticky note on one of the other agents' monitors about the Monopoly money or the Monopoly game possible scam. And so he kind of starts to look into it, and then it just gets deeper and deeper, and it turns into this rabbit hole that leads to this massive scam. They do set him up as like a character who's eager to find something, but they kind of set up the whole Jacksonville, Florida FBI headquarters as like a sitcom setting. Like you could picture it like in a comedy. You have the different types of characters, and I was surprised at how comedic this setup was. But it's actually a serious thing. Like they're actually tracking down real scams, but it's almost funny in the way they have it set up. The book alternates between telling the story from this FBI agent and the Jacksonville group to people who are getting these weird requests saying that someone has a winning Monopoly money game ticket and they'll get it for free, but they just have to share the winnings with the person who gave them the tickets. It turns out this is always a bad idea. This is one of the moral of the stories for me. Never take money from mysterious circumstances. Like it's just not worth it. Step away. You'll get in a lot more trouble, and it's just bad news all around. Be law abiding. So you go back and forth between these, and gradually you start to figure out like who the main people are that are behind the scam, and then who's behind them, and then who's behind them. And there actually ends up being a lot of characters involved. Like while I was reading it, it was hard to keep track of who was who, and I felt like I needed to have a board with a bunch of strings attached to the pictures on the wall, just to keep track of everything. The good news for this book, though, is even if you can't completely keep track of every name and every situation, it's still a good read. It's still engaging. It's still like you want to know what happened. You're still looking towards that event, solving the eventual mystery in the end of like, how did this all get started? Side note, the book came from an HBO miniseries, and I feel like watching that would be really helpful because then you'd actually see the people and have faces attached to the names. That would make this a whole lot easier to follow, so maybe I should do that next. Anyway, back to the genius structure. It's fun because you see it from the FBI agent's perspective, so it's like you have these suspicious people, like they don't seem like they're winners, like something weird is going on, but you don't know what it is, and you can't approach them directly and say what's really going on because you have to get at the answer some other way because there's something that they're hiding. So it goes through the clever tricks that the FBI had to do just to get more information out of them, like make up their own company, pretend they're interviewing past winners, just all sorts of crazy things. And the new FBI agent guy makes it fun because that's just in his personality. Like he really wants to go undercover and do all these weird things, but they actually do get at what is going on. It's like the strategy actually works. And then on the other side, you picture what it's like having a whole bunch of winning tickets and what strategies you would use to not make things look suspicious. Like, don't put them all in one family. Try and go to a different state and hand out these things to people and how to figure out how to have some kind of network so you get this diverse group of winners, but people who are all in on it. So the dynamics there are just fascinating to me. And of course, it doesn't end up working. Because the FBI does catch on to what's going on and it all comes to an end. It's actually very creepy to me to think that you have these commercials of McDonald's winners and like, oh, isn't this great? This guy won a boat. This guy won $1 million. You could be one of them too. Just play the Monopoly game. But like some of these people, they're like on the other side of the screen, there's a angry mob boss like expecting half the payments and they're like, you be happy, go get in front of that camera and sell it. Make sure that you're extra happy. It's actually really scary. Jerry Colombo was one of those mob boss guys that I just hated so much. Like, I've read a lot of books and a lot of really good villains where I just absolutely hated them. Jerry Colombo is towards the top of it because he was exactly the horrible person you would expect it to be, like forcing people to be happy and stand in front of the camera and just awful human being. What's funny is Jerry Colombo was one of the guys who was featured in a Monopoly commercials, like one of the winners of the Monopoly game. Like, he was one of the scam artists, and they just have him smiling there saying he won a car.
Jerry Colombo won a Dodge Viper, and there are two $1 million prizes left.
Anyway, I absolutely love reading this book because I had no idea how it was going to end, even though I was alive and I kind of remember the Monopoly game. I didn't remember it being a scam. I didn't remember why it started or stopped, so this was all just new revelations to me. Also, seriously, having a clean conscience and being free from legal problems is so much better than having it the other way around. I mean, ideally, you have money and a clean conscience, but if you can only have one or the other, go for the non-money option. Easy. I'm going to give this book 5 stars.